Welcome, as it is the Ball Report brought to you by Doctors Campbell, Cunningham, Taylor, and Haun. We'll look back on the Georgia game ahead to Vanderbilt. Got a lot going on as Jacob Warren joins us now. Enjoy life when you see better. The Ball Report brought to you by Doctors Campbell, Cunningham, Taylor, and Haun. So, Jacob, we've had discussions after games where you're sky high. We've had discussions that haven't been so great.
Yeah.
How are you feeling after the rather one-sided Georgia game? How do you feel?
I mean, obviously, yeah, like you said, you there's times when you feel amazing. There's times when you don't necessarily feel very good. This is probably one of the times when, you don't feel very good coming out of a game just because, you don't feel like, first of all, you know, offensively, at least I'll speak for the offense because that's all I really, I know is you don't really play as well as you want. Obviously, you open up the game with, you know, a pretty crazy electric play, like just something that's really cool and just obviously a great effort by everybody on the field. And then you just struggle to be able to do a lot of things you want to do. So it does feel bad, and it's not necessarily the best feeling ever. But again, similar to after Missouri, man, if a loss is the worst thing that happens to me and makes me feel the worst, then I got some good problems in life. So.
That's very true. That's very true. So how is morale on this football team after a couple of weeks like you've had?
I mean, yeah, you just have to continue to show up. I think that everybody's done a good job of, regardless of how you feel about, certain circumstance or, the game or whatever, everybody shows up and everybody continues to love on each other and continues to enjoy being around each other. I don't hear any, griping and moaning about just being, in the building and in the facility and doing the things that we got to do. And that, that's growth. I think that in the past may have seen a lot of guys, just like not enjoying being around each other, what I mean, just kind of getting annoyed with each other and just things start to split. And I haven't seen any of that, on this team. It's just as much as we've been through and just the amount of progress that we've made over the past few years. I think we did a really good job of in these hard times being able to just lean on each other and just continue to show up and continue to try to get better each day.
I want to ask you about that big play by Jalen Wright to start the game.
Yeah.
Remind you, the Ball Report is brought to you by Doctors Campbell, Cunningham, Taylor, and Haun. Look at me, no contacts, no glasses. I can see fantastic near and far, and it's local doctors that will take care of you. Doctors Campbell, Cunningham, Taylor, and Haun. Enjoy life better when you see better. After that first run, what's the sideline like? Jalen Wright with a 70-plus yard touchdown run had to feel pretty good.
Yeah, felt great. I mean, it felt similarly to how I feel everyone else in the stadium felt. Just the pure just noise and chaos and energy that we all got from that play. And then you kind of quickly have to be like, look, yeah, that happened. That was great. It was an amazing first play, but we have to continue to go do that and continue to make plays like that. Because if you don't, obviously, they're not just going to stop playing after the first play, right? So I think that's something we learn from. I mean, having an extreme spike in energy and enthusiasm and a great play like that at the beginning and being able to just reset, refocus, just the same way if something bad goes, if something bad happens first play, you got to refocus, you got to be able to reset. I think similarly, if something really really good happens, like what happened on Saturday, you got to be able to reset and got to be able to go do it again. So
From that point forward, how much of it was mistakes that maybe you guys made, or Georgia just being probably the preeminent program in the nation?
Every week, regardless of who you play, the conversation is going to always be, man, there's things that we're not doing, right? There's mistakes that we make that lead to this, that lead to that. For sure, props to them, and they deserve the credit that they get and all that stuff. Like, no one's saying they're overrated or anything, but there's all types of things in the film that you see that are the cause of us not being successful. Whether it's us killing ourselves with, we played pretty clean penalty wise, what I mean, but us just having some costly penalties at the beginning of drives, or whatever it may be, in execution on a route, that leads to something looking like somebody overthrew, the quarterback overthrew the ball, but it's really the route, or just all these little tiny details that we all see in film that you just really wish you had back. That's kind of just the story, right? That's kind of how it goes whenever you have a loss like that. Is we just didn't do enough, we didn't execute well enough to be successful.
You played Georgia when they gone on to win national
Mhm.
championships. Is this Georgia team as good, because they've kind of been up and down this season? But how do you view this Georgia team compared to the others?
um, I guess I've never really, thought about that yet. I think that again, like I said, they're a talented team, one of the best teams in the nation for a reason, right? And I think that, um, if they continue to put together really good performances and continue to, you know, execute the way that they did on Saturday, then yeah, they'll have a really good chance of winning it again. And I think that, I don't know. At that point, that's probably not. I don't know. I'm probably not the best with talking about stuff like that, but I think that they have an extreme amount of talent. They do play really well together. Made a lot of plays when they needed to, and that's kind of the moral of it.
I think there's two ways to look at this week. And again, the Vol Report brought to you by Doctors Campbell, Cunningham, and Taylor Haun, local vision done correctly in East Tennessee. If I'm a player or just a guy in a job, and I've got Thanksgiving coming up and I had a bad weekend, I could think to myself, I'm just going to slide through this week and get to
Yeah.
December. Or I could go out and really challenge myself
Yeah.
and best I possibly could. In your case, it would be beat Vanderbilt as bad as you could. I mean, what do you feel like is the mindset right now, after having a couple of days for this to sit with you?
Yeah. One of our strength coaches had a really good point today. Just in the weight room, we were working out, and he mentioned how the common man, right? Just every other guy, person that doesn't necessarily care about being the best they can or whatever. The common person would just kind of, like you said, show up and just kind of slide through the week and go through the motions and just kind of figure out a way to get by until next week, whenever the season's over. The uncommon man takes this opportunity to get better and to truly focus on what they need to improve on, and watch the film very critically and be like, okay, now what do I have to do to be really successful the next week? And nothing changes based on the time of year, right? We should be attacking this last week the same way you attacked the first one and the fifth one and the seventh one. Like there should be no shift in how you approach this game, regardless of who you're playing, or what the situation is, or how many games we've won, or what bowl games we're going to. Like, realistically, none of that matters, right? Because there's nothing you can really do about it other than just go out there and play this one as hard as you can. So I definitely think that, yeah, there'll be distractions and stuff this week that are amazing, right? Thanksgiving's one of my favorite holidays personally, because I love to eat. But just being able to have that time away and spend some time with the family, but also be able to come back and be ready to go have the best day on Saturday.
So, Jake, one of the things I like about you is you've never made excuses, and I don't want to try to make one for you.
Yeah.
But every team has injuries.
Yeah.
But yours this year on the whole football team have seemed to be key.
Yeah.
Keenan Pili, who's expected to step in and be that Mike backer early in the season. Brew McCoy, Cooper Mays, Kamal Haddon, as I thought he was just starting to play his best ball of his career.
Yeah.
I know you're not using that as an excuse, but how much of an impact do you think that's had on the season?
Yeah. Again, another big key that has been hit, within just kind of the leadership and kind of just the message of the program right now is there are no asterisks on wins, right? There's no asterisks on losses. You can't say, oh, we lost that game, but we were down two of our starting wide receivers, our right guard, our left guard, our tackle, our starting Mike, or cornerback. There's no one. That's not how the game is measured, right? There's no one really cares. The game doesn't care about things like that, right? The game is the game, and there's a winner, there's a loser. So yeah, you have to go out there and you have to compete with what you have, and you think you put the best product out there on the field. Again, without making excuses, yeah, there has been a lot of unfortunate, circumstances and events and injuries and things like that have probably hindered the whatever, however you want to say it. There has been injuries that have had an impact on the way that we play, sure. But that's not an excuse to not go out there and still be able to put out the Tennessee brand of football. And I think that that's, definitely the the media way to say it, but I truly do believe that that's correct. I mean, you have to have guys that step up and play the same brand of football that the starters would, right, regardless of situation. So
when you're playing video games, you're playing Madden. I mean, those sorts of things, and maybe one day there'll be a college football game again.
sure.
But you don't have to take into account the psychological impact of making some sort of drastic move. And
Mhm.
one of those I'm asked about all the time, and you know this is why not play Nico some now because the season there's not a championship at stake. Why not play him some now? How would that affect, do you think, the psychology of the team, the camaraderie of the team? Because you guys have been so behind Joe to this point.
Yeah, and I don't know. Honestly, I really don't know. I don't know how it would affect us. I don't know how it would affect Joe. I don't know how it would affect the coach. I don't really know. And that's something that I guess we'd find out if it were to happen. And I don't I don't know what the right move is. I don't that's not my decision to make again. And I think that regardless of who's back there, and I've said this so many times, regardless of who's back there, truly, like you have to trust him and you have to believe that he's gonna, be the guy to do it. So regardless, end of the day is yeah, we always will back Joe, and we always will back Nico. We always will back Gaston if he's in the game. Like these are our guys, right? These are the people that we go to work with every single day. So I really don't know how anyone would handle it, but I know that as of right now, it's Joe, and he will continue to put his best foot forward and do what he can. So
You have been such a great ambassador for the program.
thank you.
And it's obvious that you love the University of Tennessee.
Mhm.
So you're gonna be standing there on Saturday in Neyland Stadium,
Right.
and you're gonna see that T, and they're gonna. I assume they're gonna still do the special thing where you walk out there one at a time.
Yeah.
What's that gonna be like for you?
It's gonna be cool, man. It's weird because um, thinking last year was my last year,
Oh,
right?
that's right. Yeah, you did it last year,
I
right?
was able to do it, but it definitely didn't quite. I think that was another one of the moments when I felt like, I may have been leaning the wrong way as far as leaving. Was in that moment I didn't feel like it was over. I didn't feel like this was really truly like it for me, right? So I think that was a moment last year that I definitely had a realization of like, yeah, this isn't like I'll still I guess think I still want to be here. This year, there's no coming back, right? Like this is it. There's
That's it.
no other choice. There's no other option.
The NCAA is going to make you leave after this
No,
year, as
like
much as I would like for you to stay around.
they're gonna throw me out. They're not gonna lie. They're not gonna let me do it. So, um, yeah, it'll be awesome, man. I sure hope that people are excited to, maybe some people happy to see me go. I don't know, but people will be excited that they'll get to celebrate me, and it'll be great. Everybody get to be a center of attention. This is so awesome, right? Just kidding. But I get to, have my time and just kind of reflect on just how long it's been and all the things that we've been able to do here. So definitely thinking about it a lot. And I think about, today was the last Monday practice. Tomorrow will be the last Tuesday practice. Like there's all these things that kind of go through your head as it kind of winds down. So definitely be a sentimental week and will be fun.
I want to ask you three questions, and they're gonna escalate and positivity.
Okay.
The first one: when did you first realize when you showed up on campus that holy Hannah, this is a different level of football? Was there that welcome to the SEC moment or welcome to college football moment?
Um, I mean, yeah, I think that there's a moment that you definitely sit there and you're like, wow, I did not think this was gonna be, what I mean, I thought I was nice, right? I thought I was good. Like, and then you kind of come in and very quickly realize that everybody's nice, everybody's good, everybody was the best guy at their school. So yeah, I had that realization pretty quick, and didn't help that again, I wasn't the strongest, biggest guy on the team in the tight end room. So got my butt handed to me quite a bit. So yeah, pretty quickly into that first spring ball, you realize that yeah, and this is a little bit different. You're gonna have to figure it out. So
Okay, let me ask you this. When was that moment you walked off the field, practice field, and said, I can play. I can survive. I can thrive.
yeah.
I can play here.
There was a moment, it was in fall camp of the same year, freshman year. Um, there was a guy named Jonathan Campbell
Oh,
who
yeah?
defend like a rush, like edge rush guy, defensive end. And for some reason, I don't know why, I really don't know why I was going against him one on one in a board drill, right? And it was one of those things where it just kind of was just a rotation that ended up happening. Um, I take my steps and I'm really trying to come off the ball, obviously, because this large human, right? He's really strong, really, really physical. I mean, just I wouldn't say I beat him or like flat backed him or anything like that, like at all. But I just held my own, right? And I realized at that moment that I was like, okay, I can do this. Like I just need to figure out how to do it, but I know I can do it. It's just a matter of figuring out the way that I'm going to end up doing it. So that was a big moment for me, and just like the confidence of like, yeah, okay, I know I'm not quite there yet, but I'm getting there, and I will be there eventually. Um, I guess belong there, 2020, struggle with, that's when I really started playing, and I was like, wow, do I, kind of get beat a lot. Like, just didn't really know, how the flow of the game worked. The speed of the game was a lot different. And then just had, good conversation with the tight end coach at that time was Joe Ossovet. And so he really helped me a lot, just with his encouragement and just positive words and stuff. And that was kind of when my mentality definitely shifted, playing wise. That yeah, I do belong. Like again, let me figure out how I can actually be successful. But I do belong here, and I made the right choice. Like I can be successful here.
So the last of my three questions. It can be during the game. It can be another time.
Mhm.
If you could relive one day from your UT career, what would it be?
Same outcome or could change the outcome.
It's got to be same outcome.
Same.
And then I'm going to ask you another one.
Are you gonna ask me a different outcome?
Okay, let's start with different outcome. You can go back. You can change time. You're like the
Yeah.
Terminator.
So I know exactly what it'd be, and it's gonna be the same answer forever, probably. It was 2021, Ole Miss, and obviously driving to go like try to win the game. I catch a ball across the middle. Was probably 3 inches short of the first down marker. Fans going crazy. Some people think it's first down. Some people don't think it's first down. They ended up marking it short. Again, the mustard bottle, the golf ball, all these things now proceed to happen in front of me, and I'm sitting here like, man, like it's all my fault. It's all my fault, right? That's the first initial reaction to as a kid being like, God, this is literally all my fault. And obviously, there was other events leading up to that. It wasn't just that one moment that lost us the game, but that is a moment in my career that I really, wish I could have back. And if I could go back and change an outcome, it would be that. If I could go back and live another day and not change the outcome, have the same outcome, it would definitely probably be Alabama, just because that
Yeah.
was such a fun experience, and that's such an experience that we'll remember forever, and means a lot to me and a lot of the guys on this team. Not just because again you win the game, but just kind of what it stood for the program.
Says something about you as a competitor, because all great competitors remember the games they lost more than they remember the games they win. Every great competitor that I've interviewed over 25 years, they all feel the same way. So I think that says a lot about you. Hey, best of luck against Vanderbilt. We're going to continue to chat, and we're going to talk you right up until you're that first pick in the NFL draft, and we look forward to it.
Can't wait. Thank you.
He is Jacob Warren. I'm Dave Hooker. This has been a presentation of Off the Hook Sports.